Hello everyone, back out in the shop today. We're going to do a little fender repair, rear fender repair, and see if we can't get started on the seam sealing. I'll start on this area first, see how it does. On all the fender's pretty good, got a little bit of pitting but completely usable. Looks like I got a little bit of work to do up here. So we'll get at it and see how we go. For the lower section, we have purchased a patch panel. Should make that go quickly. There we have the patch panel. I'm going to do a little trimming on it. It's a little longer than I need, so we'll get the grinder after it and trimmer to fit. Along with the trimming, doing a little bit of measuring to a couple of key spots. See if I can't get the dimensions correct. I'm sure that'll come back to help later. Yeah, the piece is pretty well trimmed. A little bit of dressing on the edges. And we'll got here, and I'm putting out this little step that I put in it. I did it to try to line up with the body seam. I don't think I'll do that anymore. It just didn't work out. I couldn't cut around that little step. And here we got some undercoat on the original piece that's taking up some distance. So we'll heat her up and scrape her off and get ready to lay the panel. And as I keep mentioning, the MIG welder does not like epoxy primer, and I had sprayed all these panels to keep them from rusting till I got to them. So I'm grinding the epoxy primer off the backside and cleaning everything up, getting it ready to weld in the new patch. And this corner is where I had left that alignment tab, and this just didn't work out for me. Next time I definitely won't do that. It was a good idea, it just didn't work out. I had to spend a lot more time in there, and it just didn't do the way I wanted, so I ended up grinding it back and doing it the way it needed to be, and all was better. The grinding here also, it was fighting me, and I couldn't figure out why. It just was, the gap was getting big. It wasn't laying in like I wanted. And finally, after I got all through with it, I discovered that this particular cutoff wheel was a 1/16th wheel, and my thin wheel is a 3/64. And I think the next set of wheels that I get, I'm actually going to get 45 thousandths, which makes a much thinner hole. So I used the power hacksaw, because the blade is so much thinner, to get in there and clean the cut. And it worked. It just was a little more fiddly. tacking the spots along. If they were lined up, I went ahead and tacked them. And here I'm grinding down my tacks so that when I connect them together I don't have so much weld to go through, and it made a little smoother job. Everything tacked in place and the panels cut apart, and there's the old offending panel. So on to the finish welding. There it is, all welded, ground down, looks good, body line looks good, even finished off the back side. It looks good. Very satisfied with how it come out. Had a little dent in the rear fender here. It was about probably the size of a hard-boiled egg. And I put on some guide coat and filed it down with a body file. And I'm going to use a tool many of you may not have seen. It's called a bullseye pick. It's got the pick on the bottom and a little bullseye that you set on top. And when you squeeze the handle, it brings the pick up. And if you go slow, you don't really put a point on the dent. It just raises the metal a little bit. And I'm trying to work my way around the outside of the dent, working my way into the middle. It's easy to get in a hurry and smack it too hard. In fact, I almost did a little bit. The purpose of the body file is not to remove the metal. I'm actually mostly just shaving away the primer sealer. It's to just show you where you're at. It'll show you if I've hit it too hard. It'll show the low spot. I'm leaving this in real time. It only took 4 minutes. I looked on the video clip to do this dent. And if you stop and think about it, if I had put it just ground it down, and I mean, it's a small dent, and did the Bondo, it would have taken 4 minutes to just mix up the Bondo, and then the waiting for it to cure, the sanding, the feathering. I think it would have taken much longer than the 4 minutes. As I mentioned, the process is slow to get it to go the way it's supposed to. If you get in a hurry, then you got to shrink down the parts you beat up too far. So it's I'm watching it, trying to keep the metal down to where the thickness of the primer is my working area, and so far it's going good. And it's almost finished. Doing a little cross filing here, looking at the marks in the metal that the file leaves to see where I'm at, and it's pretty much good to go. Got a 50 grit on the grinding wheel. I got a pile of air hoses in this shop, but it seemed like they're always at the other end of the project. Just dressing it down. The grinding obviously smooths it out. It also puts a little heat in it, which tends to relax the metal and makes it go good. There it is, all finished. It's metal finished. Like I said, it took 4 minutes. It just needs feather edged out with some 80 grit, and it's ready for high build primer. And all finished with the power sanding. Use a little hand sanding, get into the curves and nooks and crannies, and continue on. Now it's down to the cleaning, pre-cleaning. Got wax and grease remover, a couple of rags. We'll get in here and get her ready for primer. I'm putting on another coat of the epoxy primer sealer for all the bare metal, and getting ready. After that sets up, we'll put on some high build primer. And through my connections of my many years in the collision repair business, I pulled in a favor and got me one of these the other day. What do you think, guys? This is the high build that I'm putting on. I use this interchangeably with feather fill, slick sand. They pretty much are the same. I'm using the paint gun with a 2.2 nozzle. This really throws out that thick paint. It's almost becomes sprayable Bondo. And here's the finished product. All epoxied and high build primer. This video ran a lot longer than I thought it would, so there's no seam sealing on this one, but we'll do some seam sealing the next time. Once again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it, and hope to see you on the next edition.